Hi YouTube! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiara and today I'm sharing my experience with the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation Discovery Set in medium. I'm not a makeup expert by any means, so this is my review as a regular person who is pretty new to face makeup outside of like a tinted moisturizer. I got this set because I'm currently on a journey of color matching and it seemed like a good way to try a decent range of shades all at once. Okay, let's get into it. The medium includes 300 medium neutral, 325 medium warm, 330 medium cool, 340 medium cool, and 370 medium neutral. I've seen online that apparently Haus Labs, like MAC Cosmetics, their language around undertones is different than other brands. So apparently where they're calling something warm, it will actually have a cool undertone and vice versa. I believe it's supposed to have something to do with the color wheel. And here you can see the specific undertones that Haus Labs lists for each shade in the medium set. Just keep that information in mind. Okay, so the set comes in this box and it does say what it is on the outside. And then once you open it, there's a little card about the company and then the discovery set itself. So this is what the box looks like. And that little shape in the corner is what the samples all look like. And then on the back, it gives you a little drawing of what the shades look like inside. And I would say that's basically the size that they are. The box also has some usage instructions on the outside that I clearly did not read because I threw away the tops. Whoops. But apparently you can reuse them to close the samples. And that's great to know because they definitely send you enough product for each shade for you to see what it would look like on your entire face. As I said, I already threw away the tops to all of mine, so some of them are kind of dripping, but this is one. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same size as the drawing on the package. The twist offs were a little tough for me to open. It is a little bit of a messy process, so just be careful. So in the process of getting the set, I had also taken another quiz on the Haus Labs website that tries to tell you like what your individual color match might be. And it had suggested to me the shade 300, but also there's a different color matching website called Foundation, which is a pretty cool tool if you haven't used it before. You plug in the names and shades of products that you either A, already own, or B, have tried and liked, and then it will try and tell you what colors it thinks you might be in other brands. And when I put my information into there, it suggested the shade 330 from Haus Labs. So I knew the two main colors that I wanted to be trying out and they were both in the set, so it worked for me. So first I swatched on my arm. I know some people don't like that, but I just wanted to show it for people that do. I could tell from here that the last two shades would probably be much too orange for me, but the top three, 300, 325, and 330, seemed like potential contenders as I had suspected. So in swatching 300 and 330 on one cheek and then bringing it down my neck, neither of them seemed like a perfect match to either my face or my neck. 300 seemed too light for my face and 330 seemed too dark for my neck. But I knew that I wanted to try a bigger swatch of each on half of my face respectively, so I put that aside for a second. For the other side, I knew immediately as suspected that 340 and 370 were way too orange on me, so those two were out. 325, however, did pique my interest because it seemed like a big maybe. As you can see, it did have some redness underneath, and I couldn't tell if that was from the color separating or if I was having a reaction to it. Because I should mention, I do have sensitive skin, but I also saw that some people are allergic to the Haus Labs foundation. They usually cite one of the ingredients, the fermented Arnica, as being the source of their irritation. A lot of the swatches ended up having pink underneath for me, but 325 was the worst offender. As we can see, if you look at the bottles side by side, the 325 is a little red compared to the 300 and the 330, And I did end up doing a half face swatch of this one, and it turned out to be way too red on, so I know that that one is not my match. When I did a full face swatch of the other two with 300 on one side and 330 on the other, unfortunately, those were not a match either. In my bathroom light, 300 looked like a pretty good fit, but in the sun, it was definitely a shade too light for me. It was lighter even than my neck, and it pulled noticeably pink. 330, on the other hand, once it was spread over half my face, was too dark. It was darker than
I got a tan.
Dark. So that was also a no. I should also mention 330 in my bathroom light looked green, and that's literally because it is. On the Haus Labs website, it says that it has golden olive undertones, and that is definitely true. And then again, looking at the bottles side by side, you can see a bit of that green in 330 compared to the others. I know some people absolutely love this foundation, while others have been unsuccessful in finding a color match for themselves. I fear I do not have a color match in Haus Labs, because the only other color not included in the set that I think might work for me is a 310 medium warm. But on the website, it says how it's a medium with soft rosy undertones. And if the 300, which is supposed to be the neutral, was already pulling towards pink on me, I have to imagine that 310 with rosy undertones would do the same. I know some people say you can bring foundation up into your hairline and all the way down your neck, and then that way, even if it's a little off, like you can get away with it. But there are so many other brands and formulations and shades, so I'm just gonna keep looking. 3 other things that I noticed about this foundation. 1, my skin can be a little dry, and this did accentuate some of that texture for me, which I didn't love. 2, color-wise though, it is certainly medium coverage with the first swipe, and I could see somebody building this up for sure. And 3, this product is hard to remove. When I was taking the swatches off my arm, it took a little more effort than I was expecting, and so when it came to my face, I physically removed as much of the product as I could before double cleansing, because I didn't think that double cleansing would be enough to get my face fully clean. Also, I accidentally got some on my shirt, and it took 2 rounds of washing with 2 rounds of stain remover to fully get the stain out. So just be very careful with where this product is landing. Okay, if you end up getting the Discovery set in medium, I wish you the best, and I hope you have an amazing rest of today and a wonderful tomorrow. Bye, YouTube.